Hello and welcome back to another Brotato video. Today we are playing the one-armed. We have 200% attack speed and damage modifications are increased by 100%. However, we can only equip one weapon at a time, so that means we are stuck with one weapon. And in my opinion, the best possible start you can go with is the Ghost Axe, because you get damage percent stacking, which gets doubled. The effectiveness is doubled. It is very rough between waves 1 through 8, but if you make it to wave 9, you can get a ton of damage percent from all the small enemies that come out. A bunch of chasers, fin aliens, and chargers spawn in that wave, and you just get, yeah, a bunch of free damage percent. And if you use this weapon all the way up until then, well, you're going to have a lot of stacking damage percent throughout those waves. I will say, however, that I do think that this weapon is pretty weak as you get later in the run. You definitely do not want to take it into wave 10. At wave 9, or after wave 9, you should be switching weapons, which means that you need to have a weapon prepared. When you go into wave 9, you should have a weapon locked and ready to go, so you can sell your ghost axe and replace it. And if you notice just now, I rolled, upgraded my ghost axe to tier 2, and then I'm no longer rolling really, because in shops 1 and 2, we always see two weapons, and we always see, one moment, we always see two weapons here on the left and two items on the right. If we lock this, for example, let's say lock an item, let's lock the goat skull, and then let's lock the ghost axe and buy the goat skull actually. We re-roll, see two weapons on the left still, this is one and this is one, and then two items on the left, or on the right, sorry. Keep mixing up directions. But yeah, this is why we don't really want to roll. We already have a tier 2 ghost axe. It's extremely unlikely we find a tier 2 ghost axe this early on. It becomes more and more likely going up to wave 8, at which point we have a really high chance of finding a tier 2 ghost axe. And realistically, we only care about having a tier 3 ghost axe um, up to wave 9, like I said. At wave 9, or after we finish wave 9, we will be switching weapons. We do not want to take the ghost axe past wave 9. I repeat, okay guys, this is going to make this a little difficult to follow or make super replicable, but there are a lot of good weapons you can pick up and exchange for your ghost axe. So early on, we're just taking a bunch of melee damage and other useful stats. Now we can roll a little bit. Gentle Alien, we're mostly looking for items. So items that are good for us. Gentle Alien, amazing, right? Damage percent, max HP. That's exactly what we want. Melee damage is good. We can also even take some tanky stats. Max HP and armor are very nice. A little bit of speed can be good. Plenty of good stats. Some luck can also be quite nice. So we are mostly rolling for items instead of weapons. That is why once we get past shops 1 and 2, we can roll a bit more pretty happily, since we don't have to worry about seeing only two weapons on the left side. Everything is more or less randomized after that second wave or second shop. More melee damage, perfect. A fireball, explosive and elemental projectiles explode on hit, deals 5 times 1 burning damage. This can actually be quite good for later, but you know, it's way too early to be switching into a new weapon, so we're still just gonna keep to our ghost axe. And there we go. Found a tier 2 ghost axe. Plus 1% damage for every 18 kills. This was 20 at tier 1, and at tier 3 it will be 16. So now we only need 16 kills to get a upgrade to our damage percent. Also, we are going to lock the cake. We do lose 2% damage because of the modification. That is completely fine. 2% damage is not a big deal. 3 max HP is a big deal because we only have 19 max HP. Damage percent, we're going to have hundreds of percentage damage boost by the time we get to wave 9. That is just how this strategy works. So you absolutely do not need to, hang on to every single bit of damage percent possible. You can lose some for a cake, for example, that gives you max HP. That's really good for us. Makes our survivability go way up, and we still are one-shotting everything regardless, so we don't need to be worried about it. And there we go, easy wave 5, right? Like I said, up to wave 9, it's not really difficult, just more damage percent. Let's see, 15 luck is pretty good, we're going to go ahead and take that. A medal is great. Speed, armor, damage percent, and health are all really good for us. And a lightning shiv. This is an example of a really good weapon that we could switch into. Um, so I could lock this and just keep it. Like, it seems insane or crazy, right? Because it's only shop 5 and I'm trying to lock a weapon. But this is much better than the ghost axe later on. Once we get to that wave 9, it's going to be way better. You can see it has double the attack speed, by the way. Look, double the attack speed, 0.26 cooldown on the attack, 79 damage per hit, and the chain lightning, which helps us kill more enemies. So you know what? I'm actually going to lock it. That's going to be our weapon for wave 9, or past wave 9, I should say. There are definitely better options, but we just need something that works well enough. And that is something that works well enough. There are lots of weapons in the game, so I can't realistically go through and explain all of them in one single playthrough. But pretty much anything that can use your melee damage effectively and has, you know, better attack speed, better attack motion, for example, will work quite well. So if you played enough Brotato, I'm sure you used a lot of the weapons. The sword is a good example of a pretty decent weapon. Anything else that can, again, be melee and effectively use your melee damage and damage percent is going to work well. Or melee damage and elemental damage. That's actually really good for the lightning shiv. You see, look, 3 bounces, 17 damage each, and more elemental damage here on the side. I'm actually going to take that to prepare. And Ghost Axe tier 3, so we can actually get even more damage percent, 1% for every 12 kills. So the Ghost Axe is interesting, because at tier 1, it takes 20 kills to get 1 stack. Tier 2, 18 kills. Tier 3, 16 kills, and tier 4, 12 kills. So you get a sudden drop down to 12 kills. Only 12 kills for 1% damage. That is insane, right? Because the difference between tier 1 and tier 4 is 8 kills. So if you get, you know, 600 kills with a tier 1, well, guess what? You're only getting 30% damage. But if you do that with a tier 4, you actually get 50%. It's so much more, right? So much more. So it's really, really good if you can get it. But I will say it's not necessary, like it's not going to be game altering. It's just going to be really nice, and it's going to make the game a little bit easier for you. Oh, wait, sorry, I kind of lost focus for a second there. We are fine again. I started looking at the screen some more. I kind of stopped paying attention. I'm going to take more elemental damage. Like I said, I'm shifting into the lightning shiv because I found a nice lightning shiv. I'm definitely going to just play that. So I'm just leaving it locked. I'm not letting go anywhere. I'm absolutely going to use that. We can take a blindfold. You know what? Blindfold is not bad. We can start stacking up a bit of crit chance. Armor is also very good. It's going to make us a lot tankier. Luck is good as well. We are going to lose some damage percent, but that's why we're stacking with our ghost axe. So these damage percent losses are not really going to affect us in the later game. Now let's just go ahead and play out wave 8. Wave 8 is a little bit annoying. It shouldn't really be a big deal, but these spitters that just spawn all over the place, you see, there's one here on the left, on the right, they're everywhere. On the bottom left, top right, they're just spawning everywhere. These guys can be really annoying and frustrating to play against. So don't get tilted and like run into them or like just suddenly like mess up your run because there's a bunch of projectiles. Just run away. It's fine. You'll live. You don't have to kill every enemy, right? It's okay. As you can see here, I went for a couple of kills in the center there, and I took so much damage. That is why I said just a second ago, you don't need to go for all the kills. I just knew I could probably live and get a couple of kills in there for some additional damage percent. Allure is perfect. Loot aliens. More elemental damage or crit chance. You know what, let's take some crit chance. And the lightning shiv is still just waiting for us to buy it. We're going to lock the recycling machine, the baby gecko. Baby gecko gives a bit of range, and my favorite part of it is the passive, which gives you automatic material pickup, basically. And if you get 4 of them, it becomes 100%, right? It's 25% per baby gecko, up to 4. And then we have the recycling machine, which makes it so that we can recycle things for 35% more of their value, which is actually a lot. So this loot crate, for example, is worth 35% more now. If it's something useless and we recycle it, we just get a bunch of materials from the recycling machine. We didn't actually buy it, of course, but that is how it's going to work from these waves forward. And again, just try to find something. If you can find a nice tier 3 weapon, that's obviously the best. It's still going to be better than this axe, by the way. You might think, oh, you're replacing your axe with a tier 3 shiv. How is that good? Well, the Shiv is a lot better at clearing out clumps of enemies than the Axe. The Axe has very low attack speed. You see, we're kind of overkilling enemies by hundreds of damage, and we don't need that. So we'd rather just have half the damage, but double the attack speed. That is much more efficient. So here we are going to want a little bit of speed is not bad, and some HP regen is not bad. So now it is time to get rid of our Ghost Axe. Goodbye. It did plenty. It gave us 98% damage, which got doubled. Okay, that is 196% damage boost for us. That is incredible. But now we're switching to the Ghost Axe, and we're going to go ahead and keep rolling. See if we can find anything else. Plus engineering for every elemental damage we have. We could take that, but it's not really good. Luck and dodge, but we lose a tiny bit of lifesteal. It's not bad, but it's also not really necessary. It's very expensive as well. Missile is very good. And another, oh, energy bracelet is really good. Crit chance and elemental damage. So you can see here, 189 per hit. 0.26 attack speed, so we get 4 attacks per second nearly. And they bounce and do elemental damage to other enemies as well. So it's going to make this much easier for us. If you had a Ghost Axe here, look how ineffective it would be, right? With enemies spawning all over the map, how are you going to kill them? It's going to be so difficult, right? So you really want to get something that can effectively deal with these sort of enemies, because from here on there are going to be a lot more enemies spawning from every direction, and the Ghost Axe is really bad at handling that. You definitely can try and limit test if you like, but this is a guide and I want to give you the best chance of winning. So I found a Ghost Axe, I went with the Ghost, or sorry, I found a Lightning Shiv, I went with the Lightning Shiv, right? If you find one yourself, you can follow along and do the exact same thing as me. Otherwise, you just want to, again, pick up something with better attack speed, and hopefully some sort of effect like the one I have, right? Which can sort of chain off and kill more enemies. Like the Shuriken, for example, could be pretty good. Shuriken, or, you know, some other melee weapon with a nice chain effect. Okay, we do want to try and get something a little better than this, though. Crit chance, okay, perfect, that's good. More crit chance. Luck for HP regen is not bad, we can go ahead and take that. We don't need range damage. We can take a Peacock, but we are going into an elite. We want to keep that in mind. We don't want to get ourselves killed on accident. One more reroll, and damage percent is great. So we do actually want to take more damage percent if possible, since we are now missing our stacks from the weapon that we had a minute ago. Also, you can see, since I'm using a melee weapon, it is a bit awkward to fight the crocodile. I'm going to try to run him into the corner here, like this, and then get out, run him out of the corner, run him back into the corner, and just keep him going in and out of the corner until I can kill him. Okay, I kind of walked into that. That's my mistake. Got hit one time. Let him run out again, run him back into the corner, and he is going to be dead in a second. There we go, perfect. And we get to full heal, and we are back to just clearing out enemies. So you can see how effective the Lightning Shiv is. Basically, it has no requirements on it. It just chain lightnings and kills all the small enemies around the map for us. Really useful, right? All that damage percent we built up with the Ghost Axe is now doing a lot of work for us. And we even crit for 400, right? With our melee swing, or 378 to be specific. This is great. Just HP regen, right? It's perfectly fine. We can go ahead and take it. We don't really want to lose HP regen since we just took that. Speed is okay. Crit chance is great. More damage percent. Speed and lifesteal are really good for us. Makes us more our survivability a lot better. And we found another tier 3 lightning shiv. Now we have a tier 4 lightning shiv. Perfect weapon for clearing out those mobs. Bounces 4 times, dealing 85 damage per hit. And then we also have 0.23 attack speed. So we attack more than 4 times per second. And we have a really good chance to crit. So it's exactly what we like when we are playing the one-handed. Something like this is perfect for us. Okay, let's go. You could also just not take that much melee damage early on, and you could actually take a lot of range damage, or just completely take only damage percent, for example, and that would make you a lot more flexible when you do switch into a different weapon on wave 10. Because then you wouldn't be forced to find a replacement melee weapon, you could just find a replacement weapon, and it could be anything. But in this case, I was pretty confident I could find, you know, something decent. I would have taken a cacti club, the shiv, for example, shuriken, a sword. Lots of weapons would have been okay. The lightning shiv is pretty good, of course, because it does have the bounce effect. So if you do find something like this, like the shiv, I would recommend taking it. I wish I just could give you guys a massive list of all the weapons, but I feel like that would be so hard to follow anyways, so might not be the best. But yeah, there we go. Super easy rides. Nothing really has gone wrong. Go to recycle all of this, and more elemental damage is actually not bad, but damage percent or crit chance exactly are even better. Perfect. I'm going to take some cake and speed plus range, but we do lose elemental damage. I'm not really happy with that. We're going to skip it. Luck, we don't need anymore. It's okay. HP regen, but we lose luck. Actually not bad, but we really don't need the HP regen. This is actually good. Ugly Tooth is also quite nice, and a piggy bank, sure, why not? We're just taking some nice value items. And look at that lightning again, look. Look at how it works. Look how well it works. This goes around and kills basically 4 enemies each time it goes off. And we can attack really, really quickly. So if we're hitting a boss, it'll actually just end up killing everything else because of the chain lightning. And the Cacti Club is pretty similar, since it sort of shoots off spikes, but it doesn't bounce, so it doesn't have a 100% hit rate. It just goes in an area of effect, like they shoot out in multiple directions. Go ahead and heal a little bit here. Okay, perfect. And if you feel like you can't figure out, or you can't decide what weapon you should switch into, then you could always just start with the lightning shiv instead, and just particulate, like specifically build into it. It is a lot less efficient, obviously, because you don't get to stack up damage percent, but it can work perfectly fine. A peacock. I think we're against the boss next, so I'm not going to take that. I don't want to put myself in danger unnecessarily. HP regen is great. And let's see, anything else? This is also great, just more melee damage. You see we're hitting for 232. That goes up to 252. Very nice. Scared Sausage, also very good because we have so much damage percent for our elemental damage. HP regen is good as well. Another black belt and a broken mouth is actually quite nice. Just more max HP. And let's go, 500 per hit. And we have the bounces going off everywhere. Very, very nice. And again, if we were using the Ghost Axe, this would be much more difficult. So if you actually manage to do this with the Ghost Axe, or play an entire playthrough with the Ghost Axe only, please let me know. I'd be very surprised. And I'd like to know how many attempts it took if you did manage to do it. Because I've done some experiments with it, and I found that definitely at wave 10 and beyond, you really need something better, something that attacks much faster, has a lot nicer attack pattern, or a nice passive. Basically just something that actually has an effect. Because gaining more damage percent when you're already dealing 600 per hit is really, really overkill. Because you're wasting a lot of that damage from the Ghost Axe. Like, we could have had a Ghost Axe for the last 4 rounds, it wouldn't have done any better. More melee damage is very nice. More max HP, melee damage and crit chance. Max HP and melee damage, perfect. And let's see what else. Nothing here. Crit chance, perfect. More damage percent again. 339 per hit. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I wonder how long the next boss is going to take us. Yeah, we're hitting for almost 700 when we crit. So we definitely want to cap out our crit chance now. And I'm sorry, you guys, that I didn't choose one starting weapon and stick with it the whole game. But I think that is kind of like nerfing yourself if you are playing one-handed. That's like playing without a hand, zero-handed. Because you really should do exactly what I showed you. Start with the Ghost Axe, and then on the way to wave 10, you should be looking on the lookout for a better weapon to replace as you go into wave 10. Because imagine doing this with a Ghost Axe, it would be so difficult. Here we can do it really effectively, because we have our lightning helping us out. Okay. Oh my goodness, we're healing a lot, thankfully, because we did take a lot of HP regen and also lifesteal. There's so many enemies this wave. Look how much we killed. Almost 800 materials there. Okay, bait is really nice. Damage percent, of course, is nice. Let's see what else we can get here. More elemental damage, another scared sausage, perfect. And another metal. We do lose a bit of crit chance, but speed, I mean the armor is quite nice and the HP and damage percent. You know, we're gonna take it. It's sad losing crit chance, but I think it's worth it in the end. For overall, it's probably worth it. There we go. Just because we already have more than enough damage, so becoming tankier is really our main priority. Even if we lost all of our crit chance right now, I'm pretty sure I could finish out this run fairly easily. Hitting for 377 with a non-critical hit is plenty, if I'm being honest. Okay. Baby Gecko's helping us pick up all our materials, of course. There we go. And this wave is just very easy at this point, right? We've gotten to the point where there's no longer any struggle. I'd say the hardest part of this is definitely that transition and trying to figure out which weapon you should keep. I tried to recommend some that I think would be pretty good. I'm going to take the Weird Ghost. But I can't, you know, sit there and tell you, oh, this weapon is great, right? Like, because you might not find this weapon. You have to be a little bit flexible with this character. More HP regen is great as well. Attack speed, you know what? I think it's actually worth it. Losing a bit of damage percent. Melee damage, okay. Crit chance and elemental damage is great. One more roll. Nothing crazy. We can take a Terrified Onion, but we have a lot of move speed already. Don't really need it. I have to be careful. I took the Weird Ghost, so I'm starting here with 1 HP. Look how quickly we're killing this boss, by the way, with one weapon. Look at that. 12-second boss kill with one single weapon. And that, again, is because we did take and use the Ethereal Axe to stack up our damage percent in the early game. So the late game is incredibly easy, right? That is how it looks when you get to do that. Because the Ghost Axe stacked up almost 200% damage percent for us over 9 waves. So it did its service to us, and then we sold it and got our materials back, and just kept on moving. Okay, very nice. And you might think this is very difficult at first, but once you get good at transitioning out of the Ghost Axe, the one-handed becomes extremely easy in my opinion. Grind's Magical Leaf? Sure, why not? It's not even worth taking actually. It's wave 17, we might as well recycle it. More damage percent, more damage percent. And dodge is great actually. We have quite a bit of dodge, so it just adds on to that. Max HP and melee damage is great. Another Gentle Alien. Coupon Tree, max HP, crit chance, and a melee and range damage upgrade. Very nice. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. Wave 18. Just a few more waves to go and we will be out of here. Okay. And then I will say again though, I think you could definitely do this starting out with something like the Lightning Shift. Just start with it. Or starting with, for example, a Shuriken. It also does something similar, but you have to crit for the Shuriken, so it's a little different. But the good thing about the Shuriken, for example, is you don't need to get any elemental damage to make it work. So you could just go like the Shuriken, or if you found a slingshot, you could do it. Anything that balances or applies additional hits every time you attack is quite good, in my opinion. So you could just start with one of those weapons and invest all into it instead of going with the Ethereal Axe. I just think, again, this is by far the most efficient way to play one-handed. And it's also not difficult. The difficult part is recognizing if this weapon is good or not. For example, the Hatchet. This is actually much better than the Ghost Axe. If I found the Hatchet, I would take this over the Ghost Axe. It's a perfect example. You might not be able to recognize it, but you just look at the stats, you say, oh, this actually has way better damage and way better attack speed. I could definitely use this, right? And then again, Lightning Shift, same thing. Has bouncing electric, lightning projectiles. That's really good for us. And we are almost at the end of the run. We could take some more elemental damage. We're going to start here at 1 HP, we're going to be a little careful. I'm still greeting for additional max health. when I don't need to, but you know, it's the inner gamer in me. I have to optimize my stats. You can see we're almost hitting for 1,000 per hit. Pretty close to it. And yeah, I think I locked this lightning shiv, right? The tier 3 lightning shiv. I forgot. I think I locked it on shot 5, if I'm not mistaken. And I bought it on wave 10. So that just goes to show how important, I'm telling you, it's really important that you do have a weapon ready for when you go to wave 10. So you can sell your ghost axe and just switch immediately and be ready to go into wave 10 with a strong weapon. Okay. Very, very nice. I mean, the game is not too difficult now that we're hitting for 1,000 per hit. And our lightning is hitting for 276 every time, like bouncing around between enemies. This is exactly what one-handed looks like when he's played optimally, right? Recycle this. Sure, we'll take a tier 4 attack speed. Damage percent, damage percent. You know what, let's skip the mutation. More crit chance is great. And look at the alien eyes. This could also be really good. Rip and tear is also actually really good. If you get either of these, for example, these can do quite nicely. Let's take a little bit more melee damage and go into the final boss. Let's see how long this takes to kill. Okay, we're gonna hit the invoker first. We're hitting for 1,000 per hit. Very nice. Let's focus him. He's gonna run away in a second. That was a little slow. It took about 10 seconds to kill, right? And let's focus the predator here. And he's down. There we go. Super, super easy, simple character. Yeah, again, the complicated part is knowing when to switching weapons at wave 10, but hopefully you get some practice in, and then you can do it consistently after a few tries. But yeah, that's it for now. If you guys enjoyed, you have any questions or anything, please leave a comment. Next week, we will be moving on to the bull. We're actually getting really close to the end of the series. As you can see, there's actually only 9 characters left, and then I will be starting to do endless runs and also DLC content. Yeah, I hope you guys show up for that. And if you watched till now, please leave a like and subscribe because I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's it for now, okay? Goodbye. Bye-bye.